For those of you who are not aware, Adnan Virk is a man of many talents. We're still trying to figure out what most of them are. But one of them is he has a fabulous podcast called Cinephile. He knows more about movies than most people know about anything. So we thought with him here with us on Get Up, it would be appropriate for him to do a fundamental list of the top 5 sports movies of all time.
Yes, thank you. And there's a reason why he's on an island by himself right now. I'm just giving everyone a heads up.
I've seen the list and I hate it. Go ahead.
By the way, Cinephile ESPN app on iTunes. Download, rate, and review right now. Number 5 film for me is Field of Dreams. Listen, there's nothing that any red-blooded Canadian or American loves than having a catch with his dad. Yes, it's nostalgic. Yes, it's heavily redemptive. And for some, it can be a little bit syrupy. But honestly, it cuts the core, for me, of what a great sports movie is. Ray Liotta plays Shoeless Joe, who immediately shows up in a cornfield, and all of a sudden you got Amy Madigan and Kevin Costner changing his entire life because he wants to build a field of dreams and bring back his dad's hero, Shoeless Joe. Yes, it's fantastic, but I think it's a beautiful film.
It's not even my favorite Costner baseball movie. Bull Durham. I actually like Bull Durham better. All right, what's number 4?
Bull Durham, a little bit overrated, by the way, and that's not going to make the list. Number 4 is Hoop Dreams. Remember, like Hoop Dreams, more like Hoop Reality. Yes, all of us dream about playing basketball on the playground, but honestly, it's a beautiful documentary by Steve James, which sparked an outcry at the Oscars when it wasn't nominated. And people said this is one of the best documentaries they've ever seen. Arthur Agee and William Gates are a couple of guys in Chicago from the projects who are can't-miss players. Instead, Steve James, through studious detail over the course of 4 years, shows that they can't overcome the situations around them. Parental neglect, whether it's inner-city crime or the fact they're just not as good as they thought they'd be. Hoop Dreams is unbelievable.
No. For my generation, this movie was huge because it gave a 4-year look on guys in the transition and the process of becoming a good high school player to trying to get to college. So it was very, very opening about everyone has NBA dreams, but not everyone will be able to fulfill them.
That's 3.
RJ did correctly point out, not great for rewatchability. 2 hours and 50 minutes long. Number 3 is 8 Men Out. Speaking of underrated baseball movies, this is a great drama about one of the most critical moments. You talk about the end of innocence when it comes to sports in America. This would be that film. When baseball was king in 1919, how could these guys actually collaborate and throw the World Series? A wonderful cast long before they were stars. Guys like Charlie Sheen and John Cusack and D.B. Sweeney and John Mahoney, who's wonderful as Kid Gleason, the manager who wants to support these guys. 8 Men Out is John Sayles, a wonderful filmmaker, telling a great story.
It's a fascinating picture of John Cusack we chose there.
It doesn't say anything.
To illustrate that movie. That's Lloyd Dobler.
Yeah.
So it's not even my favorite John Cusack movie.
High fidelity.
Yes. Go ahead. Number 2.
Number 2 is $1 Million Baby. This is one of my favorite movies of the century. You talk about a film that literally, over the course of the first hour, lifts your heart. It's inspiring. Look at Maggie Makushla. Hilary Swank ended up winning an Academy Award for a performance. It lifts your heart, and then it breaks it. Who would have thought Clint Eastwood, one of the great American icons, would make a film that's so tender and so full of emotion? He does that with this movie. Yes, it's not uplifting, but it's a gorgeous film. Won Best Picture in 2004.
How do you get that picture of John Cusack to get that picture of Hilary Swank? Like, it's just like, you got to feel bad for the guy.
It's a great point by Richard. She's a lot more grittier in the film as this boxer.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I want to see what's number 1 because this isn't even my favorite boxing movie, so go ahead.
Well, this is one of the great films of all time. Forget about sports movies. Everyone knows Martin Scorsese's classic Raging Bull. Robert De Niro changed acting forever, put on 55 pounds to play the role of Jake LaMotta. And yes, we can live in fantasy or we can live in reality. And oftentimes, it's not the demons that we fight inside the ropes, it's the demons we fight outside the ropes. Scorsese is unsparing in his use of the camera. It's gorgeously shot. The 15 minutes of boxing scenes are revolutionary. You ask any filmmaker, they talk about how hypnotic they are. This is a movie which is bloody and brutal, and yet it's gorgeous. The Mosconi score, De Niro, Pesci, you name it. Raging Bull's an absolute.
I have zero argument with that one. I would put Raging Bull number 1 also, but there were a few that you left out that I would say. How about the movie Breaking Away, which I think is I think that counts as a sports movie.
Bill Wolf pick on that
and is an absolutely sensational movie. The original Rocky, which I know some people live to put down, but is a magnificent movie. And then my final, but the real question I want to ask you is, how do we factor in comedies? Because the truth is, there have been brilliant sports comedies, including the movie Slapshot, which is one of my favorite movies ever made.
We got to foil them up right now, the Hanson brothers. Brothers. I love Slapshot. I also love Major League. That I really wanted to get on the list because Mike's right. Oftentimes comedies get short shrift, but I figure those movies are often mentioned. I wanted to shine a light on others like Hoop Dreams and like 8 Men Out, which I think are very underrated films. But yes, Caddyshack, overrated.
Caddyshack, Bad News Bears, White Man Can't Jump, which was my personal favorite. Yeah. And it's like, I respect this list. You brought us some very good names. I think you made people aware of some great movies that they should go check out.
Right.
I don't know if it's necessarily top 5.
Maybe we go next time top 5 fun sports.
There we go.